Chapter 1667. Tangguo went to bed at around 9 o'clock. The medicine that Hu Xiaolan had asked for was delivered to her door in 20 minutes. She did catch a cold today and felt a little dizzy. After taking the medicine, she lay down and fell asleep in no time. Not long after Hu Xiaolan fell asleep, Leng Ruofei, who had not returned to the dormitory for 2 days, returned. Seeing that Tangguo and Hu Xiaolan were both asleep so early, she was a little surprised. Since someone was asleep, she did everything softly and made very little noise. She got into a car accident today. Under normal circumstances, her family lived in a villa on the mountainside in the suburbs where the air was better. There was still a highway halfway, so they could only leave when the road was cleared. There was no way to take a detour, so she arrived at school so late. Her trip was delayed for half a day, so she was a little tired. After washing up, Leng Ruofei lay down and got ready to sleep. Before going to bed, she glanced at Gao Lily's position. Needless to say, Gao Lily should still be playing with her boyfriend outside. According to Gao Lily's personality, she would definitely make a lot of noise when she returned to the dormitory. It was late at night. Even if she could call Gao Lily, it would affect her sleep. Therefore, she took out an eye mask and earplugs, planning to rest well. The current situation was, Tangguo, who had taken sleeping pills, Hu Xiaolan, who had fallen asleep after taking cold medicine, and Leng Ruofei, who did not want to be woken up, wearing earplugs and an eye mask. It could be said that there was no possibility of the three of them waking up halfway. Even if Tangguo heard it, she would not get up to open the door. The earplugs that Leng Ruofei bought could completely block out the sound outside. The eye mask blocked out all the light, so she could not hear anything. As for Hu Xiaolan, people who caught a cold usually slept soundly. Whether they could wake up halfway depended on Gao Lily's luck. At about 11:30, Gao Lily returned to school on time. When she walked to the door of the dormitory, she knocked on the door as usual and called out for Tangguo. Naturally, she could not wake Tangguo up. She also remembered that Hu Xiaolan said that Tangguo had been suffering from insomnia recently and had to take sleeping pills every day to be able to sleep. Her expression changed slightly. In the end, she called for Hu Xiaolan. He still didn't wake her up. He had no choice but to call Hu Xiaolan. However, Hu Xiaolan had the habit of turning off her phone when she was asleep. She just didn't want to be woken up. Gao Lily was at a loss for words. She knocked on the door loudly and even kicked it with her feet. Instead of waking up the people in the dormitory, it woke up the people in the dormitory next door. A few girls walked out and looked at Gao Lily with dark expressions. "What are you doing in the middle of the night?" I can't get into the dormitory. I forgot to bring my key. They probably don't want to open the door for me." Of course, Gao Lily wouldn't tell him that she didn't bring her keys with her every time. Anyway, it was her roommate's fault for not opening the door for her. They knew that she would come back at this time, especially Hu Xiaolan. They knew that she didn't bring her keys. Why didn't they wait for her to come back before going to bed? Gao Lily's pitiful look did win the sympathy of the girls in the dormitory. No matter what, they felt that if they didn't open the door, the person inside was in the wrong. Then call again. "Did you guys have a fight?" Gao Lily said softly, "Maybe they're unhappy that I didn't bring my keys and came back so late. After all, I did wake them up by coming back so late." Chapter 1668. Then the people in your dormitory are really annoying. They seem to be fine normally, but they actually locked you outside. Seeing that everyone was on her side, Gao Lily heaved a sigh of relief. This time, the girls in the dormitory wouldn't blame her for being noisy. They don't seem to want to open the door for me. The dormitory is locked, and the school gate is locked. What should I do? Gao Lily said, feeling wronged. The dormitory's auntie asked others to help lock the gate of the girls' dormitory today. She seems to have applied for leave and will only come back tomorrow. An informed girl said, in the end, it's your dormitory's fault. Actually, I understand them. After all, I came back really late. Next time, I definitely won't forget to bring my key. Gao Lily's current plan was to choose one of these dormitories and stay for the night. Now, she really suspected that the people inside were deliberately not opening the door. She suspected that they were working together to target her. Perhaps it was Hu Xiaolan's doing. After all, Hu Xiaolan seemed to be especially dissatisfied with her today. Tang Guo's stupid look didn't seem like an organizer. Yes, it must be Hu Xiaolan who hated her and didn't open the door for her. Why don't you go to our dormitory and squeeze in with me? A kind-hearted girl walked up to Gao Lily. Although girls usually competed with each other, they couldn't bear to see such a thing happen. In such cold weather, Gao Lily would definitely get sick if she stayed outside the dormitory for a night in such thin clothes. My place is fine too. Which dormitory do you want to go to? It's fine to squeeze in for a night. As for the people in your dormitory, they will definitely open the door and come out tomorrow. We can ask them what's going on then. Gao Lily took a few steps forward and said gratefully, then I'll have to trouble you. I'm really sorry to wake you up in the middle of the night. At this moment, a sharp-eyed girl looked at the gap on the ground and asked curiously, what's that? With that, she even squatted down and pulled out the red string. Finally, a key that seemed to be shining lay in her palm. She hesitated for a moment and said, this is the key, right? The 6 or 7 girls all looked at Gao Lily's face. They were not blind. That was really the key. The girl with the key looked at Gao Lily and said, you might have misunderstood your roommates. They left the key for you. It's probably because you were too anxious and didn't notice. By the way, why don't you take a look at the messages? Maybe they sent you a message. Gao Lily was a little dumbfounded. After being miserable for so long, in the end, the people in the surrounding dormitory discovered that the key was under the crack of the door. She really didn't look at the chat accounts today, but she didn't think that the people in the dormitory would send her any messages. She hadn't thought of leaving the key behind. Although the current situation was a little awkward, she really couldn't bring herself to hate the person who left the key. Therefore, she was very conflicted. She took out her phone and opened her chat account. Sure enough, a message popped up. Gao Lily, I've been suffering from severe insomnia recently. I have to take medicine every night to sleep. Hu Xiaolan has been waiting outside the dormitory for a few hours today. She must have caught a cold, so she probably won't be able to open the door for you. Chapter 1669. So I put the key under the door. It's a red string. Pull it and it'll come out. The girls came closer to take a look and realized that the person who sent the message was Tang Guo. They had heard of Tang Guo before. She was a nice girl, but she didn't have much of a presence. Anyway, she wouldn't reject them if they asked her for help. She sounded like a nice person. Since you have the key, you should go back to sleep. Yeah, you misunderstood your roommate. Actually, your roommate is a nice person. She even thought about this. It's so late at night and she's sound asleep. She might not have heard it. This kind of thing is really not bad. Cherish it. The girls yawned and put the key in Gao Lily's hand. We're going back to sleep. Remember to bring the key next time. Don't make so much noise at night. They didn't sympathize with Gao Lily now. She was such a nice roommate, but she left the key for her. In the end, she didn't read the message and even complained to them that her roommate was targeting her. This girl must be crazy. No, she was a selfish person. Fortunately, they found the key at the last moment and didn't let her stay in their dormitory. The system was wondering why the host was so kind to leave a key under the door for Gao Lily. It turned out that the host knew that Gao Lily would violently knock on the door and attract the attention of the people in the dormitory next door. At that time, no matter what the reason was, the people in the dormitory didn't open the door for Gao Lily. Gao Lily would win a lot of sympathy. Anyway, the person in the wrong would be in the dormitory. But in the end, this mistake would most likely fall on the host's head. Because Hu Xiaolan could say that she had a cold. Who would blame someone who had a cold? Lang Ruofei had always been a cold person. She stayed in the dormitory for 2 or 3 days a week. Those who were slightly familiar with her knew that Lang Ruofei came from a powerful background. No one would be so stupid to blame Lang Ruofei. Then, the only one who could be blamed was Tangua. Because she came from an ordinary background and didn't catch a cold. In the eyes of many people, insomnia wasn't a big deal. Even if they took sleeping pills, they would still be able to be woken up. Some of them even blamed Tangua. She knew that Gao Lily was not back yet, but she took the medicine and went to bed immediately. She did not even consider that her roommate was not back yet. Now that the host had placed the key, Gao Lily's vile character was fully exposed. The other girls in the dormitory also knew how much consideration she had for Gao Lily. Wow! She got all the good things. Even if Gao Lily felt uncomfortable, she couldn't say anything about her. This was because the host had already thought things through perfectly. Compared to personally opening the door for Gao Lily, this was even more impressive. However, in the dark, she had really set Gao Lily up. Gao Lily fell asleep as soon as she came back. She didn't wash anything and still had makeup on her face. Tangguo woke up at 6:00 the next morning. Coincidentally, Lang Ruofei also woke up early. So early? Lang Ruofei asked indifferently. She glanced at Gao Lily's sleeping posture and said, "You opened the door for her last night." No. Lang Ruofei was surprised. Did Hu Xiaolan open the door? It didn't look like it. I left a key under the door for her. But there won't be a next time. Chapter 1670. Lang Ruofei nodded. That was indeed the case. If they kept too much of it, it would easily bring safety hazards to their dormitory. She opened the glass door of the sink first. A stench hit her in the face, causing her to frown. She glanced over. There was no need to guess. Those soaked trash must be Gao Lily's. How many days has she been soaking? About 3 days, Tangguo said. Lang Ruofei felt that something was wrong. This Tangguo seemed a little different from before. That bucket is yours. If she likes to use it, then let her use it. I don't use the bucket anymore. Lang Ruofei, something is wrong. She sounded so easy to talk to, but there was something different about her. In the past, she swallowed her anger and didn't dare to speak. But today, it seemed like she was trying to kill her. It couldn't be, right? Lang Ruofei pursed her lips slightly. Would Tangguo try to kill someone by flattery? What a joke. This girl was really the silliest and most honest person she had ever seen since she was born. She was the kind of person who lamented her misfortune and was angry at her for not fighting. Seeing Tangguo wash up expressionlessly, change into sportswear, and go out, Lang Ruofei asked, running? Yes, my body has been very weak recently. I'm going to train well. Lang Ruofei didn't say anything else. As for what happened to Gao Lily, she didn't want to care. She didn't feel that she had an obligation to teach Gao Lily to be hygienic. Now, Gao Lily had already affected her. But according to her guess, Gao Lily would definitely wash those things when she saw her. Tang Guo was in a good mood as she ran on the track with fresh air. Host, Ling Ruofei seems to have noticed that something is wrong with you. So what if she noticed? She has no conflict with me. But once Ling Ruofei came back, Gao Lily would probably wash those dirty things away. But if Ling Ruofei doesn't come back, it will still affect your lives. After a while, I'll rent a room outside and apply to the school. I'll come back occasionally to stay. Gao Lily can do whatever she wants. I'm not interested in reminding her that, as a girl, she should care about hygiene. Look at what happened last night. If I hadn't left the key, she would have ruined the reputation of our entire dormitory. This person was selfish and only cared about herself. No matter how well you treated her, she would not be grateful and would even become worse. Once you treat her badly, she will definitely think that you owe her. Just support her for now. I'm going to live outside anyway. The system finally understood. So the host had already planned this all along. Host, you won't leave Gao Lily to Hu Xiaolan and let the two of them tear each other apart, right? That's right. Although Hu Xiaolan is a little bit better than Gao Lily, it's only a little bit. She still has a grudge against me. I didn't take the initiative to attack them. I just left a small space for the two of them. As for Ling Ruofei, there was no need to worry at all. If Ling Ruofei wanted to move out, she could do so at any time. Host, look who's running behind you. The system's surprised voice rang out, distracting Tang Guo's attention. She turned her head slightly and saw Bai Li Qing running towards her. Host, this is called being all-pervasive. Sister Tang, your living habits are quite good. Bai Li Qing ran to Tang Guo's side and stood side by side with her. Are you up so early to exercise? Chapter 1671. That's right, Brother Bai Li. You have a good habit of waking up so early. I've always been like this. It's just that I was a little busy a few days ago. If I'm here, I'll come to your school's track for morning exercises. Host, he's lying. Although this guy woke up early, he still needed to exercise, but he didn't come to your school to exercise. He usually went to the biggest gym outside. That's right, the gym was also his. Is it important? Tang Guo's lips curled up. He's trying to attract my attention. Tongzi, I think you should increase your emotional experience so that you don't understand this kind of thing. System, so, he's being looked down on. I come every day at this time. Tang Guo said with a smile. Exercise more, your body will be better and you won't get sick. Actually, I come around this time too. Maybe we can meet each other every morning. Bai Li Qing hurriedly said. Actually, he felt that exercising in the gym really couldn't compare to coming to the school to breathe in the fresh air. Running like this seemed to be more interesting. Oh, that's really a coincidence. The two of them jogged and chatted. Suddenly, Bai Li Qing said, I saw that your social media account has already updated a lot of articles about those products. Whether it's the articles or the pictures, they're all very well done and very detailed. At my supermarket, there are a few new products. They're all niche products and the price is a little expensive, but the quality is definitely not a problem. Later, you can try them and write 2 promotional articles. I'll let the big V under me help promote your account. Okay. System, that's great. Eating, delivering things, it's really a one-stop service. Both of them should be quite satisfied with the outcome. After running 3 laps, the two of them went to the school cafeteria. Tang Guo saw that Bai Li Qing actually took out the school's meal card and was a little surprised. Why do you have the school's meal card? I used to be in this school too. Bai Li Chang's face showed a little bit of a smile. The school's food is not bad. What do you want to eat? I'll help you. System, he dares to guarantee that the host will not refuse. If he asks, she will definitely answer. This is a chance for him to show off and improve their relationship. As expected, Tangwa said, then I won't stand on ceremony. Now that you're my boss, it's normal for the boss to treat his employees to breakfast. System, it's normal for the boss to treat the lady boss to a meal. After breakfast, Bailey Ching went to the supermarket to get some new products for Tangwa. He said, there will be a variety of new products in the future. I need your help to try them. If they work, I can provide some for free for your classmates to try. Okay, no problem. After some time, I will apply to the school to live outside the school. It will be more convenient for me to do whatever I want. Hearing that Tangwa wanted to stay outside, Bailey Cheng's eyes lit up. Yes, rent a house outside. It's more spacious. The dormitory is indeed very crowded. When Tangwa returned to the dormitory with her things, Hu Xiaolan was still asleep. Ling Ruofei sat on the stool while Gao Lily seemed to have woken up. She was currently washing the things in the bucket and basin at the sink. After soaking in it for so many days, it was time to take a bath. You even went out? Ling Ruofei asked. Tangwa nodded. I found a new job. I have to try all these out. When the time comes, I will have to do some promotions. Oh, that's not bad. Ling Ruofei watched as Tangwa put the little things in the bucket. Suddenly, her eyes narrowed. Why did they look so familiar? Weren't those the niche brands she was familiar with? Weren't they quite useful? Who was it that wanted to find Tangwa, this unknown university student, to do some promotions? Weren't they afraid of losing out? System, you won't lose out. After all, you'll earn a little wife in the end. It's too worth it. Chapter 1672. When Gao Lily woke up, she consciously washed those things, not because of Ling Ruofei's instructions. In this dormitory, the person she was most afraid of was Ling Ruofei. Even if she was quite pretty, and her family background was not bad. But in front of Ling Ruofei, she was just a little brother. Ling Ruofei exuded the aura of a rich family's daughter from inside out. Gao Lily was envious, afraid, and a little inferior. A look from the other party was enough to give her a blow. Naturally, in front of people like Ling Ruofei, Gao Lily still preferred to be clean. Tangwa walked to the balcony. The bathroom was opposite the sink, and she was going to use it. Inadvertently, she saw that Gao Lily had actually soaked the socks in the bucket with her underwear to wash them. Host, this is the dirtiest girl I've ever seen. Yes, she's also the most careless one I've ever seen. It was common sense to wash socks and underwear separately. She didn't know what kind of environment Gao Lily grew up in to be so careless. Gao Lily, did you add disinfectant? Tangwa asked casually. Gao Lily was stunned for a moment. Why would I add that? I can wash them clean with soap powder. I'm not afraid. If there are any bacteria, it will affect your health if you wear it. It's okay. I've always washed it like this. There aren't so many problems. Gao Lily said, our family is like this. We throw all our clothes into the washing machine and nothing happens. Tangwa thought that it was lucky that nothing happened. If something really happened, it would be too late. It could also be that they used a high-temperature antivirus washing machine. It could also be that Gao Lily didn't notice that her mother actually added disinfectant. She didn't mean anything else. She was just verbally concerned. Anyway, she didn't lose a piece of meat. Host, you're so hypocritical. How am I hypocritical? Fine, I'm hypocritical. What do you want? Also, has my hypocrisy affected anyone around me? Host, that's not what I mean. I mean that it's necessary to be a hypocritical person occasionally. Really, I'm not lying at all. The system was afraid of provoking Tangwa, so it quickly explained. Actually, it wasn't called hypocrisy. It should be called emotional intelligence. Tangwa's words just now showed that she was concerned about Gao Lily. That was why she asked if Gao Lily had added disinfectant. In fact, she was already tactfully reminding him that washing in such a way was not good for his underwear and would affect his health. A person with low EQ would probably say, "Gao Lily, your clothes have been soaked in water for a few days. It's so dirty. If you don't add disinfectant, you'll definitely get sick. Also, you actually washed your underwear and socks together. It would be strange if you didn't get sick." Although these words were a reminder to Gao Lily, anyone who heard it would feel uncomfortable. They would even think that it was disdain. Moreover, the host had kindly reminded Gao Lily. As for whether Gao Lily would listen to it or not, that was up to Gao Lily. After all, they were just roommates, not her mother. "I don't have any other intentions. I just wanted to remind her," Tangwa said slowly. "If she really doesn't change, when something happens one day, she will probably be in pain when she recalls what happened today." System, oh. When Tangwa came out of the bathroom, Gao Lily was already washing her socks for the last time. Looking at the socks that weren't really clean and the water that was still a little muddy, Tangwa didn't say anything. Chapter 1673. There were no classes in the morning. When it was about 11 o'clock, Tangwa carried her books and prepared to go for lunch before going to the library. She had also brought her books for the afternoon class, so she didn't have to go back to the dormitory. After all, the distance between the 3 points was still a little far. It would be better if she didn't have to make as many trips as possible. She had already made an appointment with Han Yunya to go to the library to read books. Lang Ruofei had already gone to class. At this moment, Gao Lily lay down again and was playing with her phone. Hu Xiaolan woke up slowly and looked at Tangwa walking out with her books. "Tangwa, it's only 11 o'clock. Where are you going?" "I have an appointment with a friend. We're going to the cafeteria for lunch. After lunch, we'll go to the library. I have classes in the afternoon, so I brought all my books. I'm too lazy to go, so I won't come back." Hu Xiaolan rubbed her forehead and said, "Okay. If you're hungry later, you can order takeout or use our school's errand app. At this time, there should be students who are willing to buy food for you. Don't go down to eat when you're sick." System, dear host, you're so thoughtful. Hu Xiaolan, you're already an adult. Remember to take good care of yourself. Don't go hungry. A clean smile appeared on Tangwa's face. Everyone felt that this smile was warm, and the words that came out of her mouth were filled with concern. System, what the host wants to say is, Hu Xiaolan, you're already an adult. Even if you're sick, you have to learn to take care of yourself. Nowadays, all kinds of apps are very convenient. No one has the obligation to help you do anything. Adults have to be more independent and take care of themselves. Don't always think of taking advantage of others. Based on what happened last night, Hu Xiaolan actually didn't feel that there was anything wrong with what Tangwa said after she called for a night delivery service. Their school had indeed developed an errand app. The people who registered could only be from their school. The employee number was the school's student number. It was really much safer than the errand services of other apps. Basically, it was to help buy food, collect packages, deliver water, deliver clothes, and other services. If one didn't bring toilet paper, they could also order an errand service. Everything could be done with a few dollars. People like Hu Xiaolan and Gao Lily were used to taking advantage of others and always wanted to take advantage of others. It was such a waste for the school to develop such a useful app. Tanghua and Han Yunya met downstairs in the dormitory. She was wearing new clothes that she had bought yesterday. Whether it was the color or the style, it suited her better. Han Yunya's eyes lit up when she saw it. It looks much better now. I think so too, Tanghua said immodestly. Han Yunya looked at Tanghua's face and said, I didn't notice it before. Your skin is so good. What skincare products are you using? Just some ordinary moisturizers. The two chatted all the way to the cafeteria for lunch and then to the library. When it was almost 11:50 p.m., Gao Lily climbed down and planned to eat in the cafeteria. Hu Xiaolan saw her. Lily, where are you going? It's time to eat. Do you want to go? Hu Xiaolan rubbed her throbbing temples. I don't want to move. Help me bring some back. According to Hu Xiaolan's thinking, since they were so close, it shouldn't be a big deal to bring her a meal, right? If Tanghua came back after eating, she would definitely bring food for her. Chapter 1674. Gao Lily had a better relationship with her, so there shouldn't be any problems. She didn't need to call for an errand service. Unexpectedly, Gao Lily said, I'm going out after eating. I won't be coming back. Why don't you call for an errand service to buy food for you? It'll be faster. Gao Lily thought of what Tanghua had said and quickly used this excuse. If that was the case, different people with different relationships would have different meanings when they said it. Tanghua's words carried a hint of concern. Hu Xiaolan enjoyed it very much, because Tanghua really wasn't coming back. And from Gao Lily's voice just now, she could clearly feel that she just didn't want to bring food for her. Why didn't I hear you say that you were going out? Didn't you not ask? I couldn't have told you that I was going out, right? I only heard Tanghua telling you not to forget to call for an errand service. That's why I plan to eat and go out. Now that I've told my boyfriend, I can't go back on my words. And the errand service is really much faster. You can eat earlier too. Gao Lily's excuse was incoherent. What did Gao Lily promise her boyfriend that time? It wasn't a video call in the dormitory. In the end, Hu Xiaolan didn't say anything else. Gao Lily seemed to heave a sigh of relief and turned to leave with her bag. Hu Xiaolan lay in the dormitory and fell into deep thought. It seemed that her relationship with Gao Lily wasn't as good as she thought. She didn't know if she was sick or if the other party had forgotten the key. Seeing that she had woken up, Gao Lily didn't seem to be apologetic at all, as if she didn't know that she was sick. She suddenly felt that Gao Lily was really a selfish person who didn't care about her at all. Last night, Tanghua came back and saw that she was unbelievably cold. She turned around and poured her a cup of hot water and reminded her to buy medicine. Today, she was going out to work, but she didn't forget to remind her to eat. To be fair, she had never been close to Tanghua. Most of the time, she talked to her to ask for help. In her heart, she even mocked her for being a fool, an idiot, an idiot. She was immensely pleased with herself for being able to take advantage of him every single time. It was as if they were watching a show, watching Gao Lily occupy Tanghua's buckets, basins, and so on. Every time there was a conflict between Gao Lily and Tanghua, she would always side with Gao Lily. Because she thought that no matter how good Tanghua was, so what? First place, average results. Secondly, he was too honest and didn't know how to socialize. He had few friends. Thirdly, her family background was probably the worst in their dormitory. In conclusion, she felt that there was nothing about Tanghua that made her want to make friends with her. Lang Ruofei was out of her league. As for Gao Lily, her family background should be similar to hers. She was eloquent, good-looking, and had many friends. Only she knew the fickleness of human nature. Today, she had truly experienced it. The person she had tried so hard to befriend was actually so cold to her when she was in trouble. And the people she looked down on still cared about her. In the end, Hu Xiaolan called for an errand boy to help her get the food. Looking at the food in the bowl, she fell into deep thought again. She remembered that Tang Gui used to bring her food and a bowl of soup on the way. It was rare to see such a meticulous person in the university. Perhaps she shouldn't have looked at people with prejudice. Chapter 1675. After the meal, Hu Xiaolan asked for leave again. She really didn't want to go to the afternoon classes. Gao Lily's attitude towards her today made her change a lot about some things. She wondered if she should take Gao Lily and Tang Gui seriously. Tang Gui didn't know any of this. She and Han Yunya read for a while in the library. There was only one class in the afternoon. After class, she called out to Han Yunya. "Yunya, help me take the books back. I'll come and get them later. I have to go out for something." "Okay, give me a call when you come back. If I'm not around, you don't have to knock on the door. Go back to the dormitory first. I'll bring them up to you later." "Thank you." "You're welcome." Han Yunya held their books and said goodbye at a fork in the road. Tang Guo went out to find a place to live, of course. As for the application for the counselor to live outside, there should be no problem. She couldn't bear to live in that dirty dormitory for 3 or 4 years. But she didn't want to use the reason that she couldn't get along with her roommates and had to apply to live outside the school. This would make her seem very unsociable. She didn't intend to be the best and most outstanding person in this world. She just wanted to be a little outstanding and outstanding. Since she wanted to be an ordinary person, there would always be all kinds of people around her. She couldn't escape from them just because she didn't like them. She couldn't handle this kind of relationship by not meeting them. They were all humans. Where could she escape to? Even if she wanted to live in a quiet place, she couldn't use that kind of reason to make herself very special. If she wasn't a powerful and outstanding person, there was no need to stand alone at the top and enjoy the cold wind. It would only make it difficult for her to move forward. No ordinary person would want to make friends with such people. "Sister Tang, what a coincidence." "It is a little coincidental." Tang Guo looked at the man standing at the school gate and suddenly came back to her senses. "How can it be so coincidental, Brother Bailey? We meet so coincidentally every day. I thought you were monitoring my every move." "Not at all, I'm not that kind of person." Bai Li Qing hurriedly explained, afraid that she would misunderstand. The neighborhood he lived in was not far from the school. The building was a little high, and he could see part of the school. The gate was clearly visible. Ever since he met Tang Guo, he liked to sit in front of the floor-to-ceiling window and look at that spot. He didn't know why, but every time he saw her, he wanted to get close to her. Vaguely, he had some guesses. However, he still needed to verify whether it was what he thought it was. "Why are you out so early? Is something the matter?" "I want to find a place to stay. I plan to move out." Tang Guo smiled and said, "It's much more convenient to do things when I live outside. Also, I plan to do something else when I have nothing to do." "What do you plan to do?" "Door-to-door manicure." Bai Li Qing was surprised. "You know how to do nails?" "Of course." System, the host knows a lot of things. A mere manicure was nothing. It seemed that his great host really intended to live an ordinary life. But why did he feel that it wasn't that ordinary? Let's wait and see if his guess was right. Chapter 1676. Not just a manicure, but also some makeup. One step at a time. That social media account is only used to promote products. I think it's too wasteful. Bai Liqing felt that this little girl's way of thinking was really special. Then I'll accompany you. You're just a little girl, so it's easy for you to be cheated. Bai Liqing said very sincerely, there are a lot of cheats nowadays. You're so young and so pretty. I'm a little worried. Then I'll have to trouble you. Tang Guo did not refuse. System, he knew. After all, he had to give this guy a chance to perform. If the host was not interested, she would directly reject him. While accompanying Tang Guo to find a place, Bai Liqing's mind was spinning. In the end, he felt a little regretful. In this place, it seemed that he only had the apartment he lived in. Although he really wanted to rent this apartment to her, he was still a man. However, he was a man and she was still a young lady. If she took the initiative to speak, it would inevitably cause some misunderstanding. What kind of apartment do you want to rent? 2 bedrooms and a living room. After getting this answer, Bai Liqing sighed in relief, but also felt a little disappointed. It seemed that she would not rent the apartment he lived in. At the same time, he was relieved. Renting an apartment was indeed much safer. Do you have money? Yes. Host, he suspects that you're very poor. I'm quite poor now, but I still have money for rent. In fact, she did not do much. She just used the remaining money in the original host's hands to get some cash. She promised that except for this period of time, she would not use the kind of opportunistic method to earn money in the future. After all, she wanted to be an ordinary person. System, ha ha ha. Because of Bai Liqing's hidden selfishness, he helped Tang Guo find a place to live near his neighborhood. Without much effort, he finally found a very suitable apartment. What made him most satisfied was that it was just opposite his neighborhood. It was very close. In the future, they would be able to see each other every day. Along the way, he somewhat understood why he always wanted to see her. If he wasn't mistaken, he had developed feelings for this little girl. Bai Liqing was a little conflicted. After all, he had told everyone in his family that he would be single for the rest of his life. But when he saw the little girl walking beside him, he threw the thought of being single for the rest of his life to the back of his mind. How could he obstruct his future true love because of an immature decision when he was young? The contract could still be changed, so why couldn't he change it? Therefore, when the rental of the house was completed, Tang Guo felt that Bai Liqing's eyes were different when he looked at her. Big brother Bailey, let me treat you to a meal. The weather is so hot, and you've been running with me for so long. Sure. Only a fool would refuse. Oh. This little girl might become his wife in the future. What do you like to eat? I like to eat everything. As long as she brought him there, it was delicious. After the two of them had a pleasant dinner, Tang Guo bought some cleaning utensils. Bai Liqing took them upstairs. Bai Liqing's reason was that he was a man and it was polite for him to help a lady carry her things. Besides, she had treated him to a meal. It was only right for him to do such a small thing. Tang Guo naturally wouldn't refuse. Everything that followed seemed to be natural. Tang Guo wiped the table, the wardrobe, and a series of other light tasks. Bai Liqing was actually holding a mop and mopping the floor. He was so tired that his forehead was sweating. Chapter 1677. Big brother Bailey, I can do it myself, Tang Guo said. Bai Liqing raised his head slightly. It's okay. This mop is a little heavy. I can mop it faster if I'm stronger. Then drink a glass of water first. It's only a little warm. It's not cold or hot. You should feel better after drinking it. It's cool now, Bai Liqing said after drinking the water. She didn't know if he was telling the truth. System, these two, they're developing really quickly. Big brother Bailey, you're a big boss after all. I feel a little bad for letting you do the work. System, host, can you touch your conscience and say this again? Actually, I used to do this a lot in the past. When I was in school, who didn't mop the floor, sweep the floor, and clean the windows? In the dormitory, when it comes to cleaning, the whole dormitory has to work together. No one can sit there and not do anything. My auntie also comes 3 times a week. The rest of the time, if the floor is dirty, I have to do it myself. Big brother Bailey, you're really a big boss. In fact, Bailey Ching really hadn't done this for a long time. Would he be able to dirty the place he lived in by himself? Of course not. The auntie came 3 times a week. The room was very clean. After the cleaning, Tangua had to go back to school. Naturally, it was Bailey Ching who sent her to the door. He even said, "You can look for me when you're moving. There's nothing in the dormitory that needs to be moved. After all, I have to stay in the dormitory during the day. If it's heavy, call me," Bailey Ching continued. Okay. Bailey Ching stood at the door of the school and watched Tangua slowly walk in. He only turned around with a smile when her figure disappeared. After an entire day, Hu Xiaolan had already thought it through. She wanted to get along well with Tangua in the future. After all, there weren't many people who were so nice. Unexpectedly, before she could even open her mouth, Tangua had already made an announcement. She said that she had applied to the school to live outside. Everyone in the dormitory asked why. Tangua said that she wanted to take advantage of the relaxed classes to do some things. It was better than dawdling around every day. She had to put a lot of things in the dormitory, and it would be inconvenient for everyone. Tangua told Fengyu that she was helping to promote some small brands. She also planned to do some part-time jobs. Gao Lily was not interested at all. Her family was not poor, so she did not need to work as hard as Tangua. Wasn't university students' time supposed to be used for fun? She didn't want to be so nervous. It's not as easy as you think. Out of selfishness, she did not want Tangua to leave the dormitory. Since you've figured out what to do, then do it well. Lang Ruofei was lying down. When she heard Tangua's words, she said some words of encouragement. People who do things seriously will not have bad results. Host, the female lead is giving you chicken soup. Yes, thank you. I'll come back every day. My books are all in the dormitory. After all, it's still quite a distance away from the school building. Hu Xiaolan heaved a sigh of relief when she heard this. That's good. No matter what, we're from the same dormitory. Actually, she was very worried. Gao Lily was not someone she could befriend. Now that she wanted to build a good relationship with Tangua, she did not expect her to not live in the dormitory. The next week, Tangua moved out. Bailey Ching also asked a celebrity to promote her account. Currently, the articles she wrote about the use of brands had already made many people jealous. After she moved out, the manicure tools she bought online also arrived. In the end, Han Yunya became her personal model. Han Yunya was her hand model, face model, and foot model. Chapter 1678. Han Yunya looked at the delicate and beautiful nails on her 10 fingers and exclaimed, "I didn't expect you to be so good at manicuring. You are so beautiful. Tangua, you will definitely be popular. If you are so good at manicuring, why don't you dress yourself up?" Han Yunya asked. Tangua said, "My parents are more conservative. They don't like me to dress gorgeously. They even ask me to wash off my makeup. If I were to do a manicure, I don't know if they would cut off my hands directly." Tangua was not exaggerating. The original owner's parents, especially her mother, were such people. Although they paid her tuition fees and gave her a small living allowance, they did not care about her other things. However, once they found out that she was dressed gorgeously, they would think that she was not good at studying. The clothes she wore were all normal. In the eyes of young girls, they were naturally very old-fashioned. However, these clothes were not bad. They were just a little out of fashion. Every time, they would teach Tanguy that she was not allowed to date in college, she was not allowed to dress up flirtatiously, and she had to work part-time. When she graduated from college, she would go back to the county to work. They were afraid that Tanguy would dress up too beautifully and run away with someone else. At that time, they would not be able to control her. After all, they did not really support Tanguy to go to college to make a name for herself. They supported Tanguy to go to college not because they thought that girls had to go to college. They thought that men with slightly better family backgrounds nowadays still valued education more when choosing women. That was right. Her parents supported the original owner of the body to go to college so that she could be presentable in the future. In their place, the betrothal gifts were also more expensive. Tanguy's parents' salary was not low. However, they planned to buy a house for her brother, Tang Xiaoquan, in a big city in the future. If Tang Xiaoquan lived up to their expectations, they also planned to send him abroad to study. Apart from the necessary expenses, all the money left was for Tang Xiaoquan. Are there still such parents nowadays? Han Yunya felt a little incredulous. Which parents who loved their children did not want their daughter to dress up beautifully? If she had not known Tanguy for so long and vaguely knew that she came from a county and lived in the city, she would have thought that she was a child. She was afraid that she would think that Tanguy lived in some remote corner of the city. Alright, let's not talk about this anymore. Come, I'll take some beautiful photos of you. The moment Tanguy took out the camera, Han Yunya was slightly stunned. This camera isn't cheap. It must be at least tens of thousands. What happened to her parents not caring much about her and making her a little poor? It's all the money I saved up in the past. Since I'm planning to start a business, I definitely have to buy better equipment. Then you are really amazing. Han Yunya stretched out a pair of slender hands that had already been manicured. She tried her best to pose in the best way possible according to her own aesthetic standards. On the other hand, Tanguy was patting him. Han Yunya's hands were fair and slender, as if she was peeling scallions. Her skin was fair and rosy, which was very beautiful. Now that she had a manicure, it would only make people feel that it was the icing on the cake. Because there were dozens of different sets of nail photos to be taken, Han Yunya's nails were covered with transparent nail polish. It was easy to remove and wouldn't hurt her nails easily. She definitely couldn't finish all the photos in one day. They had to be taken over several days. In about a week, Tanguy took about 20 sets of exquisite manicures for Han Yunya. Not only were there photos, but there were also short videos. Chapter 1679. She put these pictures in her post and instantly attracted a lot of attention. Many people were asking where she got such beautiful manicures done. Then Tanguy posted another post, regarding the manicure photos in the previous post, all the nails were done by me. You will definitely ask if I have a manicure shop and where it is. I'm sorry to tell you that I don't have a manicure shop. Maybe I will have one in the future. But you don't have to be sorry. I accept reservations here. As long as you are in the city, you can come to my place. As for the price, I will post it in pictures later. Han Yunya had been sitting next to her, playing with her nails. She couldn't help but praise them. They were really beautiful. In the past few days, she had to change 2 or 3 kinds of beautiful nails a day. Every day, she would be asked where she got them done. The girl was beautiful and a little vain. Naturally, she was very happy. If Tangua hadn't reminded her not to publicize it, she really wanted to pull in a lot of business for her. When she saw Tangua post the price list, she finally understood why she didn't want her to pull customers. Tangua, you are robbing. Han Yunya rubbed her eyes, afraid that she had seen the price wrong. But the number still didn't change. It was clearly written on it, manicure, starting from 100 yuan. If she didn't understand it wrong, it was a manicure, and the price was 100 yuan. Will anyone really do it like this? Even Han Yunya, who came from a rich family, knew that 100 yuan was super expensive. The cheapest manicure for 10 manicures would cost thousands of yuan. This was simply robbery. Tangua didn't care about Han Yunya's surprise at all. She directly put the price list up. Then she said, "Do you think my manicures look good?" "Yes." Han Yunya had to admit that they were really very beautiful. She also liked manicures. It was the first time she had seen such beautiful manicures. Every set was very beautiful. Will a lot of people like them? Han Yunya glanced at Tangua's post. In just a short while, it had been forwarded thousands of times. There were countless comments below as well. Everyone was concerned about how to get such beautiful nails. Of course, any girl will like it. If it's too cheap, will I be able to handle it? Tangua said matter-of-factly, moreover, my account only promotes high-end products. Naturally, I only provide high-end services when it comes to doing nails. It's at least 100 yuan for a fingernail. In the eyes of those rich ladies, it's nothing. Do you believe that in the future, if I set a price of 500 yuan each, or even 1,000 yuan each, those rich ladies will like my nails even more? Han Yunya was silent for a moment. She looked at Tangua strangely again. So this was your plan from the beginning? If that was the case, it would really work. Because for those rich young ladies, spending a few thousand yuan for beauty was really a piece of cake. Especially this kind of high-end service that ordinary people would find too expensive but was beautiful, they would like it even more. Then I'll help you promote it. Although our family isn't considered a top-notch wealthy family, we can barely enter that circle. I'll take 2 pictures and send them to my family. It should be able to bring you some business. Chapter 1680. Han Yunya held her phone and sent the photos taken by Tangua to her family group. Those in her family who loved beautiful things would naturally ask her where she got them done. When the time came, all the women in her family would come to make an appointment to get their nails done. They would definitely help promote Tangua again. Host, didn't you say you were just going to be an ordinary person? Aren't I being an ordinary person? 100 yuan for a nail was also a price that ordinary manicurists wouldn't dare to charge. Tongzi, that's because you're inexperienced. System, no, he didn't think he was inexperienced. It was just that his definition of an ordinary person was different from the host's definition of an ordinary person. Host, your cutie is here. You'll hear a knock on the door soon. The system reminded her secretly. He's still carrying a lunchbox. I guess he must have seen your status and knows that you haven't eaten. He's afraid you'll be hungry. Before the system finished speaking, there was a knock on the door. Tangua opened the door and saw Bailey Qing carrying a lunchbox. She heard him say, I accidentally saw your status before. You must have been busy all morning and haven't eaten, right? Yes, I still have time. I was planning to go after finishing my work. Coincidentally, I haven't eaten either. I thought it would be more lively to eat together, so I brought it up for you. He knew that Han Yunya had become Tangua's model. Naturally, the lunchbox he bought was enough for 3 people. Han Yunya had just posted the photos in her family group and also sent the link to her account. The rest was up to the women in her family to discuss among themselves. Seeing Bailey Ching carrying a lunchbox, his expression was a bit ambiguous. She wasn't a fool. How could she not know that Bailey Ching was interested in Tanghua? Is there still a share for me? She walked over and asked. Seeing the opened lunchbox, she said, "It looks quite delicious. This shouldn't be a meal from an ordinary small restaurant." After knowing him for a few days, she also knew why the supermarket suddenly had a discount. It was a strange 3-hour discount. This man was quite good at wooing girls. "You're good," Bailey Ching said. "Then I'll bring it back to the dormitory to eat. After eating, I want to take a nap. I won't disturb you too." She couldn't stand being a third wheel for tens of millions of people if she stayed here. Bailey Ching was naturally very happy and felt that Han Yunya was much more pleasing to the eye. Only Tanghua and Bailey Ching were left in the house. "Your idea is good. I helped you with the post. I think you'll be very busy soon." Bailey Ching took the initiative to bring up the topic. After all, he had another reason for bringing food over. "I didn't expect you to think like that." Bailey Chang's face was full of praise. "It seems like we've lost a large number of customers, but in reality, there are still many benefits to keeping only high-end customers. You are still a student. No matter how much time you have, you still have to attend classes. You can't be busy with this every day. However, even so, it's still very busy, especially for customers who live in various places in the city. It's very tiring to run up and down." Tanghua replied, "I'm prepared for that." "Then how are you going to get there?" Bailey Ching asked casually. "Are you going to take a taxi or take the bus?" "By subway." Without waiting for Tanghua to speak, he continued, "You're a beautiful girl and a student. It's not safe for you to take a taxi. Who knows if the driver is a human or a ghost and what he's thinking? Especially if you come back late, you'll be easily targeted." Chapter 1681. System, host, don't you think that this man is super talkative? Luckily, he's concerned about me. What do you know? System, sob sob sob. Host, you really value love more than friends. As for taking the bus, that's even more troublesome. Especially when you have to change buses. After a trip, you'll be very tired. Once you're tired, you'll be distracted when you're doing things and it'll affect your performance. If you're late, you might leave a bad impression on the client. Bailey Chang's gaze fell on Tanghua's face. "So, have you thought about how to get to the client's house? Let's fly there. Didn't Brother Bailey already rule out the only 2 methods that I can use now?" Tanghua ate 2 mouthfuls of food. "Buying a car. I can't afford it now. It's not safe to take a taxi. Taking the bus is tiring, but taking the first step is definitely the most tiring." Bailey Ching paused as if he was thinking about something. Finally, he said, "Actually, there's another method." "What method?" Tanghua looked up and asked seriously. "Brother Bailey, don't tell me. Let me walk there." "How can that be?" "Of course not." Bailey Ching laughed. How could he bear to let her walk? Even if she had to take the bus, he wouldn't have the heart. The system was also interested. It really wanted to see how this guy would express his thoughts. Then, Bailey Ching actually took out a key and placed it on the table. The system thought that he was going to lend his car to Tanghua. Then, it heard him say, "I happen to have nothing to do. I'll send you there." System, oh, he's still too naive. This was a chance to show off. This guy really didn't let it go. No wonder the host liked him so much. That's too troublesome. Brother Bailey has already helped me a lot. Bailey Ching had already thought through many things. Naturally, he didn't want to hide anymore. During this time, he could feel that the girl in front of him didn't reject him. Sometimes, he even felt that she knew what he was doing. Since they had feelings for each other, he might as well cut through the last layer of window paper. He didn't want to be ambiguous. He wasn't the kind of person who would play with young girls. Naturally, he wanted to confirm their relationship as soon as possible. Then, he would go all the way. That was his goal. I'm doing this for selfish reasons. Bailey Ching had already put down his chopsticks. His expression was unprecedentedly serious. Because I want to pursue you, that's why I proposed this method. I don't know if you're willing to give me this opportunity. System, this guy is really straightforward. He was willing to bet that his host would definitely not agree. Big Brother Bailey, are you serious? Bailey Ching hurriedly sat up straight and said, since I was born, this is the first time I've been serious. Although I'm a few years older than you, I'm not that much older than you. And I can feel that you don't reject me, so I want to try. Since you're so sincere, then I'll accept your pursuit. Tang Guo's lips curled into a smile. Then, wherever I go in the future, I'll call you. Of course you should call me. No matter where you go, I'll be there. System, alright, that's good. He had a model and a free driver. Host, are you sure this is the life of an ordinary person that you want to live? Chapter 1682. On the same day, Tang Guo received 3 orders. The first of the 3 orders came from Han Yunya's family. According to Han Yunya, the women in her family all wanted to have their nails done. There were about 7 or 8 of them. Even if Tang Guo was fast, it would still take her a whole day. Therefore, Tang Guo scheduled their orders for Saturday. The other 2 orders came from that social media account. They ordered the basic package. They probably wanted to try the effect first. If it was good, they would most likely become Tang Guo's regular customers in the future. Tang Guo calculated the time and planned to go to the 2 clients' houses in the morning or afternoon when she didn't have classes. When they found out that she was still a college student, they said that they had plenty of time and could make an appointment on any day. Most women who could afford to have thousands of nails done didn't work all day long. Tang Guo arranged the time and sent a copy of the schedule to Bailey Ching. The system said sourly, Host, you're really not polite. Aren't we looking for a partner? If you don't give him this opportunity to show off, he will feel very uncomfortable. After receiving the schedule, Bailey Ching immediately called Tang Guo. Now, he also changed the way he addressed her. Little sister Tang became Xiao Guo. Xiao Guo, what time are you getting up tomorrow morning? I calculated the time. It's only been about 30 minutes. It's close to 8:00 in the morning. It's easy to get stuck in traffic. If we leave at 7:00, it'll be 7:30 when we arrive there. We'll find a place nearby and have breakfast. After that, it'll be almost the time to meet the clients. Brother Xing, what do you think? Hearing her call him Brother Xing made Bailey Ching feel comfortable. You planned it well. Let's follow the schedule. I'll wait for you downstairs tomorrow morning. I'll call you when I arrive. In the afternoon, Tang Guo still had classes, so the two didn't chat. She had to go to the dormitory to get her books before going to class. When she opened the door of the dormitory, she instantly felt that the atmosphere inside was not right. She looked up at the balcony and saw Hu Xiaolan standing at the sink with an ugly expression. She said, Lily, why did you soak your socks in my bucket? Also, can you not soak your underwear in my basin? Xiaolan, I didn't have enough buckets, so I used them to soak other clothes. Gao Lily said indifferently. She and Tang Guo both used their buckets. However, she had saved too many clothes in the past 2 days, and they couldn't be washed in the washing machine. She had no choice but to soak them in the washing machine. It's one thing for you to use the bucket, but why did you have to use the basin? Don't you know that's what I use to wash my face? Hu Xiaolan was about to go crazy. Gao Lily said, don't you often soak your feet in the bucket? The basin should be clean. After all, it's underwear. Hu Xiaolan almost died from anger. Why didn't she know that Gao Lily loved cleanliness so much? He actually used her wash basin to soak those things. The most disgusting thing was that there was a bit of white on his underwear. She almost threw up her lunch. It was too disgusting. Why did she think that she and Gao Lily were good friends? Why did she make friends with such a disgusting person? Seeing that Hu Xiaolan's expression was not right, Gao Lily quickly said, Xiaolan, don't be angry. You're the best. We're so good. You won't mind, right? Chapter 1683. I'll wash it right away. After that, I'll wash it for you too. Gao Lily's shamelessness really made Hu Xiaolan gasp in amazement. She was unwilling to give up the basin. She was even more unwilling to fall out with Gao Lily. Although she hated Gao Lily now, she was not the kind of person who was willing to fall out with others. Alright, you can use it. Especially when she saw that Tang Guo was back, she would not make a fuss. They were all staying in the same dormitory. There was no benefit in making a fuss. Anyway, in her heart, she made a mental note of Gao Lily. She would find a chance to get back at her for this. What's going on? Tang Guo asked. Actually, every day when she came back, she would always see some small friction between the two of them in the dormitory. This Hu Xiaolan really impressed her. Even someone like Gao Lily did not make her reveal her ferocious side and quarrel with her. Actually, this was also in line with Hu Xiaolan's character. She was the kind of person who would not quarrel with you on the surface but hide a knife behind her smile. She would seize the opportunity to mess with you behind your back. Although Gao Lily took advantage of Hu Xiaolan, she would not know if Hu Xiaolan was the one who did it. It's nothing. It's just that Lily has a lot of things to wash and took up my basin and bucket. Now that I want to use it, it's not convenient. Later, I plan to go out and buy 2 more. Hu Xiaolan suppressed the anger in her heart and said, Lily, you can use these. I bought new ones. Don't take them all. Got it, Xiaolan. You're really too good. Gao Lily smiled at her victory and said to Tang Guo, I'm using your basin and bucket. You don't mind, right? You can use them. I don't need them anyway. We're all in the same dormitory. It's no big deal. Tang Guo said with a smile. Hu Xiaolan could not help but scold her in her heart. Gao Lily was such an unhygienic person. She often went out with her boyfriend. Who knew if she would get sick and come back? Anyway, she didn't dare to use Gao Lily's basin and bucket. Also, she didn't want to leave some of her more private things outside so that Gao Lily could take advantage of her. Tang Guo, you're so nice. You've moved out for so long and I miss you a little. Gao Lily was telling the truth. She missed Tang Guo. Ever since Tang Guo moved out, she always felt that the dormitory was not the same as before. Hu Xiaolan seemed to have changed too. Lang Ruofei ignored her. In the past, Tang Guo was the only one who would grant her every request. It was really difficult to ask Hu Xiaolan to do anything for her. I see it every day. Tang Guo said with a smile. Recently, she had been maintaining a polite and unawkward distance with these 2 people when she spoke and did things. The 2 of them didn't seem to be like before, asking her for help at every turn. Because they didn't live together, they didn't ask Tang Guo to do anything for them. Naturally, they wouldn't ask Tangua to do anything every time. Over time, they developed the habit of not asking Tangua for help when they needed help. Occasionally, Tangua would buy them 2 fruit ice creams. They were so happy that it was as if they had taken advantage of her. When Tangua came back from class, Gao Lily and Hu Xiaolan were not around. They must have gone to class. She put down her books and went out of the dormitory. When she went down the stairs, she vaguely heard the words, Gao Lily. When she listened carefully, she was almost overjoyed. Really? There's actually such a dirty girl. Isn't that so? Her underwear had to be soaked for a few days and she even had to wash it with her socks. Oh right, what's even more shameless was that she actually used her roommate's basin to soak that kind of thing. Tisk, Gao Lily looks quite pretty. Why would she be involved in such a dirty thing? If I were Hu Xiaolan, I definitely wouldn't be able to stand it. It's also their fault for being so loud previously. I stood on the balcony and listened to the 2 of them arguing. TSK, TSK, TSK. Some girls may look beautiful on the outside, but they're really dirty on the inside. Chapter 1684. Along the way downstairs, several girls were whispering to each other. They were all talking about Gao Lily. Tangua had already expected that Hu Xiaolan would be taken advantage of by Gao Lily. Even if Hu Xiaolan did not say anything on the surface, she would definitely do something behind Gao Lily's back. However, she did not expect that Hu Xiaolan would inadvertently ruin Gao Lily's reputation first. I stay on the same floor as Gao Lily. Gao Lily comes home late every night. Moreover, I've seen Gao Lily knocking on the door loudly without her keys at night. The soundproofing in the dormitory is not good, so it especially affects the other dormitories. Now that you mention it, I do too. Some time ago, Gao Lily came back around 11:30 p.m. She also did not bring her keys. She knocked on the door first. When she saw that no one showed her, she kicked the door and woke the other dormitories up. We even went out to ask her what happened. Guess what she said? I find it hilarious when I think about it. She said that her dormitory mates deliberately did not open the door for her and locked her outside. Previously, the weather was still cold. We really thought that her dormitory mates were at fault. We wanted to ask her to stay in our dormitory for a night, but we did not expect. At this point, the girl paused for a moment. We did not expect that her dormitory mates would put her under the door and tie her up with a rope. They even sent her a message, but she did not see it herself. If you ask me, Gao Lily is really a little annoying. Her expression at that time was really interesting. Actually, no one would remember such things clearly. However, Gao Lily was too outrageous. Hu Xiaolan would always be speechless when Gao Lily said, Xiaolan, you're the best. You definitely won't mind, right? Was she the one who would be taken advantage of? Obviously not. Gao Lily did not know that Hu Xiaolan would be on the balcony every day, seemingly reminding her of the wrong lifestyle. Occasionally, she would even deliberately mention some small things. Her voice wasn't soft either. Her goal was to let everyone in the dormitory hear what she said. If outsiders heard her conversation with Gao Lily, they would only think that Gao Lily was outrageous and did not care about hygiene. Gao Lily's hygiene habits were really intolerable to most people. Hu Xiaolan didn't need to say anything. She would occasionally find an opportunity during the afternoon to remind Gao Lily to wash the underwear that had been soaked in water for a few days. Doesn't Gao Lily like to use her basin and bucket? She had already told Gao Lily all of this. She knew that Gao Lily would definitely say, Xiaolan, I have too many things to wash. I can't fit them all in. I'll use yours. We're so close, and you're such a nice person. You won't mind, right? I'll wash it for you after you use it. Anyone who was slightly obsessed with cleanliness would feel disgusted by Gao Lily's words. So, great host, every time you return to the dormitory and hear Hu Xiaolan and Gao Lily arguing, Hu Xiaolan is actually doing it on purpose. When the system heard Tangua's analysis, it was really scared. Oh my god, Hu Xiaolan is really a little scary. How could an ordinary person think so much? Of course she did it on purpose. Otherwise, with Hu Xiaolan's personality, she would have changed her bucket and basin the first time Gao Lily used it. Chapter 1685. As for the newly bought one, she would definitely hide it in her own place and not let the other party use it. Also, every time I went back, I would see her talking on the balcony. Either there were people upstairs or downstairs, or there were people on both sides of the balcony. I paid attention to all of them. It can't be such a coincidence. Gao Lily went home every day without her keys. Was it Hu Xiaolan who opened the door for her? Yes. Otherwise, how would the people in the surrounding dormitories know that Gao Lily didn't bring her keys every time? The people in the other dormitories generally wouldn't pay attention to such trivial matters. Unless there was a big commotion every night. Hu Xiaolan also reminded Gao Lily to remember to bring her keys. As Tanggua spoke, she met Han Yunya downstairs at the same time. Now the two of them were almost inseparable. If there was nothing, Han Yunya would stay at Tanggua's place. Tanggua knew how to do beautiful nails, especially when she knew the price she charged. Han Yunya said that many people were probably envious of her because she could often change such beautiful nails. I guess that Gao Lily would knock on the door for a long time every time to wake the people in the other dormitories. Only then would Hu Xiaolan open the door and look at Gao Lily with sleepy eyes, indicating that she was asleep. She would kindly remind her to bring her keys. At the same time, when Gao Lily was angry, she would apologize to the people in the other dormitories. When the system heard Tanggua's words, the data trembled. He decided to observe tonight to see if Hu Xiaolan did what Tanggua did. After 11:30 p.m., the system went to monitor the door of the dormitory. Sure enough, after a while, Gao Lily walked to the door of the dormitory, humming a tune in her high heels. She didn't reach into her bag to take her keys. She didn't bring them at all. Instead, she knocked on the door directly and called Hu Xiaolan as she knocked. After about a minute, the people in the other dormitories were all awakened by her. Just when they were about to scold her, Hu Xiaolan opened the door. Hu Xiaolan opened her eyes in confusion and saw that it was Gao Lily. Lily, you didn't bring your keys again. I forgot, Xiaolan. You're the best. You open the door for me every day. Remember next time. Look at you. You woke up the other dormitories. I'm fine, but it's not good that you woke them up. After saying that, Hu Xiaolan even apologized to the people from both dorms. Seeing Hu Xiaolan's good attitude, everyone could only complain about Gao Lily in their hearts. If they had known that this woman was of the highest quality, they wouldn't have been in the mood to pursue the matter in the middle of the night. He just thought that Hu Xiaolan was really unlucky. Gao Lily was thick-skinned to begin with. Seeing that no one was pursuing the matter, she really thought that she was a big shot. What she didn't know was that the girls who had returned to their respective dormitories were discussing her and feeling indignant for Hu Xiaolan. The system silently retracted its hand. The host's analysis was indeed correct. The next morning, Tanggua got up at 6:00. When she finished washing up, it was almost 7:00. She gave Bailey Ching a call. When she heard that Bailey Ching was already downstairs, she quickly went down. Brother Sheng, have you been waiting for long? No, it's just 5 to 10 minutes early. Bailey Ching didn't think that waiting 5 or 10 minutes was a problem at all. It was only right for him to wait for his wife. Give me a call next time. I can do it a little faster so that you don't have to wait. Bailey Ching opened the car door and covered Tang Guo's head with his hand. He waited for her to sit in the car. Then, he sat in the driver's seat and fastened his seatbelt. After checking Tang Guo's seatbelt, he started the car. Chapter 1686. It's okay. Xiao Guo, take your time. Girls need time to dress up. What if your eyebrows are crooked? When Tang Guo heard Bailey Chang's words, she couldn't help but smile. Brother Xing, you're so careful and patient. Why are you still single? For someone like you, there should be a lot of girls who like you. There are a lot of girls who like me. When they get to know me better, they probably won't like me anymore. Tang Guo asked in surprise, why? Bailey Ching didn't turn his head. Instead, he looked at the road seriously. There was a slight smile on his lips as he said, because I've given you my patience and care. Not everyone can get them. Before I met Xiao Guo, I didn't like to interact with girls. People who knew me all said that I was unromantic and a blockhead. They even said that I deserved to be single for the rest of my life. Even my family said that I'm single because of my own ability. Tang Guo was amused. The system couldn't help but laugh. It had seen so many people, but this guy had the strongest desire to survive. No matter what he said, it was all about his host. It was impossible to pick out any mistakes. He portrayed himself as a beautiful and refined little white flower. If Xiao Guo didn't appear, I would really be single for the rest of my life. Bailey Ching wasn't joking at all. This was how he felt. What he said wasn't a lie. Brother Xing, we haven't started yet. It's hard to say whether you're single or not, Tang Guo kindly reminded him. Bailey Ching wasn't nervous at all. He said confidently, I believe that we'll be boyfriend and girlfriend soon. After all, Xiao Guo already calls me Brother Xing, not Brother Bailey. Maybe one day, she'll change the way she calls me. Xiao Guo, I can feel that if you didn't have feelings for me, you wouldn't have given me the opportunity to send you to the client. So, I'm working towards the right direction. Since Brother Xing is so confident, I'll wait for you to perform well. If you're still so patient after a month, we'll confirm our relationship. Okay. Bailey Ching knew that he was working towards the right direction. From her eyes, he could see a little bit of her liking for him. After a month, it should be a little more. They still had a long time. If she liked him, she could slowly increase it bit by bit. He was willing to send her for the rest of his life, let alone a month. When they arrived at their destination, it was almost 7:30. And they found a place to have breakfast first. After breakfast, Bailey Ching parked the car downstairs and sent Tang Guo upstairs. He was a little worried to let her go up alone, Xiao Guo. Therefore, when the client opened the door and saw the handsome man and beautiful woman at the door, he was stunned for a moment. Miss Chen, I'm here to help you with your nails. Seeing Tang Guo dialing her number, the female client finally believed her. She looked at Bailey Ching for a moment. Bailey Ching. She. Wait, oh. After spending 2 hours, Tang Guo finished her first client's manicure. Although it was a little expensive, it was really worth it. She also asked Tang Guo to take a few photos for her. After paying the balance, Tang Guo left with Miss Chen's praise. Chapter 1687. Miss Chen couldn't help but post these photos on her social media account. It immediately received a lot of likes. She was sitting on the balcony when she suddenly saw the man who opened the door for Tang Guo downstairs. When she saw the car, she was stunned for a moment. In the end, the corners of her mouth twitched. This low-key luxury car was really dazzling. That car was at least 6 million yuan. So, the boss that she made an appointment with actually came to do her nails in a luxury car that cost 6 million yuan. 100 yuan for a fingernail was really worth it. Miss Chen couldn't help but secretly take a photo. Of course, she only took a photo of the tail of the car. After typing the license plate number, she posted on her social media account and expressed her surprise at this time. Her original job was actually to become an internet celebrity. So, many people saw her beautiful nails. She simply forwarded Tanggua's social media account. She gave Tanggua a wave of free publicity. They would definitely cooperate for a long time in the future. While in the car, Tanggua received a lot of orders. Occasionally, she found out that it was because Miss Chen had forwarded her social media account. She immediately sent Miss Chen a private message and said that she would give her 2 packages to express her gratitude. She also sent a set of photos for Tanggua to choose from. Miss Chen was very happy. When she returned home, Tanggua quickly arranged the orders in her hands. When Bailey Ching saw the dense schedule, he reminded her. There are too many orders now. Do you want to temporarily close the orders or set the rules? How many orders can we take in a month? Brother Xing, that's a good idea. I'll do it right away. The orders have been queuing for more than half a month now. I definitely can't handle it alone. She didn't think of hiring a manicurist. When she had the funds in the future, she planned to open a nail salon. At that time, she would hire an excellent manicurist. At that time, she could do some mid-range services. The manicure that she had done was not something that anyone could easily learn. She wouldn't ruin her reputation for money. According to Bailey Chang's suggestion, she limited the number of orders she could take in a month. All orders could be booked a month in advance. First come, first served. At the same time, she also promoted, placed orders, and sent makeup and hair. She could do her nails, do her makeup for free, and do her hair in a special style. She then looked for Han Yunya, who seemed to be very willing to do this kind of thing. With the manicure in front of her, she was especially looking forward to what kind of tricks Tanggua could draw for her. The result was self-evident. All kinds of makeup appeared on her face, but she could not bear to wash it off. There were more and more people using Tanggua's account. She would not only post some beautiful nails and makeup, but also promote some niche products introduced by Bailey Chang's supermarket. With Bailey Chang's trial outfits, Han Yunya also helped to distribute them to the people she knew and asked for an excuse. Tanggua was very busy every day. Many people recognized her, and the things she promoted were all high-end, high-quality, and slightly more niche brands. Because of her reputation, many people bought them to try, and they found that they were really good. Currently, he had obtained the exclusive agency rights for those niche brands that Bailey Ching had asked Tanggua to promote. Just like that, a month passed. The amount of money that Tanggua earned surprised Han Yunya. One person's order would cost at least 1,000 yuan. Chapter 1688. Some orders were placed by several people at the same time. Therefore, they could earn thousands or even tens of thousands of yuan in a day. Of course, Tanggua didn't have orders every day. She limited the number of orders to 20 a month. At the lowest price, she could earn 20,000 yuan a month. But in fact, last month, she made a net profit of 50,000 yuan just by doing nails. Of the 50,000 yuan, she gave 10,000 yuan to Han Yunya. Han Yunya didn't lack the money, so she didn't want it. After all, she really didn't do anything except take photos. In the end, Tanggua said that she would be her exclusive model from now on, and she would be asked to take photos with her. Only then did Han Yunya accept it. She didn't expect that she could make 10,000 yuan a month just by taking photos. After she told her family about this, everyone was happy for her. Her family basically knew Tanggua, especially the women. They were very satisfied with the nails done by Tanggua, the makeup, and some special hairstyles that Tanggua had done for them. They were very satisfied. Therefore, at the beginning of the second month, they hurriedly placed orders again. After all, nails grew fast. They wouldn't look so good in half a month at most. But they didn't lack money. What a great thing to spend a little money to make themselves happy. It was said that Han Yunya had made a capable girl as a friend. Tanggua's social media account had become popular. It swept the entire circle of upper-class women and daughters. It was also crazily spread by countless people on the internet. Many people regretted that Tanggua only took orders from the city. When they found out that she was still a college student, they didn't complain. There were even people from other places who, in order to have such beautiful nails, made an appointment with Tanggua and specially rushed to a hotel in the city a day in advance to wait for Tanggua to do their nails for them. Many girls in Tanggua's school also followed her social media account. But they didn't know that Tanggua was the owner of that account. Of course, when Han Yunya's face appeared on it, it also caused a sensation. But many people didn't guess that the person behind it was Tanggua. He only thought that the owner of this account thought that Han Yunya was pretty and invited her to be a model. Tanggua provided high-end services and promoted high-end brands. To them, it was normal to invite a real daughter like Han Yunya. Even Gao Lily, who was in Tanggua's dormitory, and Hichichi, who was in her class, also followed the account. Of course, the two of them didn't know that the person behind it was Tanggua. At present, Gao Lily's reputation and various habits were not only known by many girls. Even the boys in the class knew that she was a dirty girl in the dormitory. Under Hu Xiaolan's urging, Gao Lily's boyfriend looked at Gao Lily with a subtle gaze. Every time he heard people talking about him, he felt embarrassed and was already planning to break up with Gao Lily. He couldn't stand the thought of Gao Lily soaking her underwear in socks. No matter how beautiful that face was, he couldn't stand it. One day, Tanggua returned to her dormitory. When she opened the door, she saw Gao Lily sitting on a chair with tears all over her face. "What's wrong?" she asked. Hu Xiaolan sat beside Gao Lily and patted her shoulder to comfort her. "Lily, don't be sad. You are so beautiful. You can find any man." Chapter 1689. Gao Lily couldn't understand why her boyfriend broke up with her out of the blue. Hu Xiaolan told her that her boyfriend probably cheated on her and fell in love with someone else. Men were all like that, falling in love with every woman they met. Everyone was talking about Gao Lily, and they were all talking about her secretly. Not everyone talked about her every day. They only whispered a few words when they saw her. Because she was usually too unpopular among girls. She was thick-skinned and liked to take advantage of others. No one was willing to tell her that. Everyone knew that she was dirty. Of course, she found out later that some people were talking about her habits because they accidentally overheard the girl next door. Then, she thought that it must be because the dormitory soundproofing was not good. The girl must have eavesdropped on her conversation with Hu Xiaolan and spread the news. Hu Xiaolan even helped her by saying, "People nowadays just like to gossip. Just take a good look at who they are and don't have to deal with them in the future." Because Hu Xiaolan had been so nice to Gao Lily recently, Gao Lily forgot that there were still some conflicts between them. Now that she had fallen out of love, she even treated Hu Xiaolan as her best friend. Hearing that Gao Lily had fallen out of love, Tanggua only said a few words of concern and said that she would find a better one in the future. Then, she stopped talking to them. She had moved out for almost 2 months. As the saying went, fragrance is far away and the smell is near. The two of them had a good impression of her. They only knew that she was very busy every day to earn money. Naturally, nothing would bother Tanguo. As for Hichichi in class, ever since Tanguo and Han Yunya got together, she automatically disappeared from their sight. She didn't dare to find trouble with Tanguo. I finally got it. Just as Tanguo was about to take the book and go out, she heard Lang Ruofei's slightly excited voice. She turned around curiously and asked, "What did you get?" She realized that there was a hint of a smile on Lang Ruofei's cold face. This was a little strange. What could make Lang Ruofei so happy? Lang Ruofei held up her phone for her to see. It's the nail salon that was popular on the internet. I finally got an order from that mysterious, powerful, and expensive nail salon. There are 3 slots every month, and I've been holding my phone and waiting for it every time. My hard work pays off, and I've finally gotten it. Very soon, you will be able to see my beautiful fingernails. Speaking of beautiful fingernails, Lang Ruofei, who had a cold personality, couldn't help but show a happy expression. It could be seen that they were really attractive to girls. However, Tanguo remained silent. The system was also a little silent. After a moment of silence, it said, "Dear host, you're about to be exposed." To be honest, she was looking forward to it. It's okay. Lang Ruofei isn't someone who likes to gossip. Tanguo held her forehead. However, she will definitely become one of my special clients. In her mind, there were more than a dozen special customers, including Han Yunya's family. None of them were short of money and wanted to order the most expensive set meal. This Lang Ruofei was not short of money. Just thinking about it made him a little excited. So what if he lost his identity? It was fine as long as he could earn money. Without changing her expression, she said to Lang Ruofei, "Congratulations then." "Thank you. I've already sent a private message to the nail salon. I don't know when I can make the appointment." Tanguo held her book and left the dormitory silently. When she came to the classroom, she turned on her phone and glanced at Lang Ruofei's message. She chatted with her to confirm the time. System, "Dear host, you're really calm." Chapter 1690. Before class started, Tanguo and Lang Ruofei decided on the time and place for the manicure in the classroom. It was on a Friday afternoon. Coincidentally, she and Lang Ruofei did not have classes. Gao Lily and Hu Xiaolan's classes were full on Friday afternoon. As for the location, it was in their dormitory. The system watched all of this silently. It was a little excited when it thought of the big scene that was about to happen. Before this, Tanguo had a lot of prearranged orders. Naturally, Bailey Ching was the one who delivered the service every time. A woman who could do such an expensive manicure had good taste. Naturally, they found out that the young lady who did the manicure for them came in a low-key luxury car that cost 6 million yuan. Not long after, this matter went viral on the internet. Actually, most people were more interested in Tanguo's manicure. Of course, there were also many people who thought that her charges were too expensive. However, these people could only be jealous keyboard warriors. Tanguo only received 20 orders a month. It was simply not enough to meet the demand. Currently, she had a lot of special clients. It was impossible to get an order even if they wanted to. Those who were jealous could only enjoy the keyboard warriors. After more than a month, Tanguo and Bailey Ching confirmed their relationship. Tanguo's current life basically consisted of going to classes, visiting clients to do manicures, and dating Bailey Ching in the remaining time. Every day after dinner, the two of them would hold hands and stroll along the snack street to digest their food. The snack street outside the school was only so big. Walking every day, they would naturally meet many familiar people. Not long after, those who knew Tangwa knew that she had a very handsome boyfriend. Naturally, everyone in the same dormitory knew about it. Gao Lily had the biggest reaction. She had just fallen out of love. Seeing that Tangwa had such a handsome boyfriend, she felt a little unbalanced in her heart. The other person was Hu Xiaolan. She also felt a little jealous. Lang Ruofei did not have much of a reaction. She had seen the two of them holding hands on the street. From the man's clothes, she knew that he was not an ordinary person. One day, Tangwa returned to her dorm room at noon. Gao Lily and Hu Xiaolan sourly told Tangwa that if a man was too handsome, he would be useless in other aspects. Tangwa, don't be fooled. Gao Lily's heart was filled with jealousy. That man shouldn't be from our school, right? There are a lot of bad men out there who cheat the hearts and minds of young ladies. Hu Xiaolan nodded. Yes, you have to be careful. The society outside is very complicated. Okay, I know. I'll be careful, Tangwa replied. Lang Ruofei didn't pay much attention to these things. From what she had encountered before, she thought that Bailey Qing was not bad. Recently, she had also discovered that Tangguo was not that stupid. She had her own opinions on everything. Naturally, there was no need for her to speak. What she was thinking about now was the mysterious and expensive manicurist who would soon give her a manicure. She had been looking forward to it for days. Hu Xiaolan and Gao Lily saw that Tangguo didn't seem to be listening, so they didn't say anything. They didn't know when, but the distance between Tangwa and them was getting farther and farther away. In the past, they could still naturally ask Tangwa to help them. Now, for some reason, they couldn't say anything. Chapter 1691. Both Gao Lily and Hu Xiaolan thought that such a handsome man would not be with an ordinary girl like Tangwa. Either he was blind, or he had some shortcoming. Gao Lily, in particular, was already asking around about Bailey Qing. It was a pity that her social circle was not that wide. She did not even know Bailey Chang's name. Bailey Qing did not live here. No one knew that many shopping malls, supermarkets, gyms and so on outside belonged to him. Who would have thought that he was an excellent man with a huge fortune? If they knew, they would be so jealous. Although Gao Lily did not know who Bailey Qing was, it did not stop her from dressing up and appearing in front of Bailey Qing. After all, his clothes were not bad. Although Tangguo was there every time. Bailey Qing glanced at the coquettish woman and his expression was not very good. That night, he held Tangguo's hand and went shopping. Gao Lily, who was dressed nicely and had exquisite makeup on, appeared in front of them. Gao Lily greeted Tangguo warmly, but her eyes were scanning Bailey Chang's body. Apart from other things, this man was really handsome. It made Gao Lily want to throw herself at him even if she had to pay. It was okay to be in a relationship and not get married. Tangguo, this is your boyfriend, right? Why don't you introduce him? Gao Lily said coquettishly. Bailey Qing held Tangguo's hand a little harder and did not even look at Gao Lily. Tangguo pursed her lips and smiled. She stood in front of Bailey Qing and said, "Don't you already know that he is my boyfriend?" Gao Lily was a little unhappy when she heard this. She was about to say something, but Tangguo spoke again. My boyfriend is a little shy. He has a disease since he was young. Other than me, he is afraid of all girls, so he won't say anything else to you. Bailey Qing, afraid of girls. All right, he was afraid of her. This woman in front of him was really a little scary. Shy. Forget it, he would just take it that he was shy. Gao Lily, I'm leaving first. My boyfriend seems to have been scared. I'm going to take him back and comfort him. Tangguo explained, which made Gao Lily dumbfounded. No, what kind of reason was that? Seeing that Bailey Qing was really hiding behind Tangguo and had no intention of greeting her, she believed it a little. Gao Lily, bye-bye. My boyfriend is scared out of his wits. I have to go back and comfort him. If I don't go back and comfort him, I won't be able to comfort him for a long time. Gao Lily watched in disbelief as Tangguo led Bailey Qing away. Xiaoguo, you can coax me now. When they got home, Bailey Qing sat on the sofa and said seriously, if you don't coax her now, she won't be able to. Your roommate is too scary. She really scared me. Bailey Qing pretended to be scared. I need comfort now. System, you're really taking advantage of my face. How shameless. When this man acts coquettishly, there's really nothing a woman can do. But the great host would definitely coax him. He didn't understand the interests of adult men and women. Then what should I do to comfort Brother Xing? I don't have much experience in coaxing people. System, who are you trying to lie to? Just lie to this guy who had reincarnated without memories. Bailey Qing thought about it seriously. In the end, he stretched out his arms. Why don't you hug me? You can comfort me and coax me. Chapter 1692. The system was watching the two of them from the side. When it heard Bailey Qing asking for a hug, it almost died of laughter. In the end, Tangguo really did give Bailey Qing a hug. Just as she hugged him, he immediately hugged Tangguo tightly. Are you better now? Much better. The fear that Xiaoguo's roommate caused in my heart has been comforted by Xiaoguo's hug. Are you done? I'm done. But this illness is recurring. I might need more hugs every day to cure it. Of course, it might be like this for the rest of my life. I'll have to hug her every day. Tangguo smiled as she watched Bailey Qing seriously plead for her benefits. Suddenly, she said, what about kisses? Isn't the effect of a kiss better than a hug? Bailey Qing was stumped. Kiss me. Let him think about it. In his entire life, other than being hugged by his mother when he was young, this was the first time he was so intimate with a girl. When he was 5 years old, he refused to be kissed by his mother on the cheek. So, he was thinking about being kissed by Xiaoguo. In the end, he said, it should be more effective. After saying that, he was a little expectant. Unexpectedly, Tangguo pushed him away and stood up. She pinched his face and said, the illness is mild now. Hugs can cure it. If you use kisses in advance, it will make the illness immune. If it gets more serious in the future, kisses won't be able to cure it. So, kiss. You can use it in the future. Bailey Qing, he had never kissed a girl before, but he knew that she was teasing him. Seeing that she was so happy, he pretended to be a little conflicted and let her be happy. The system really couldn't stand the two of them. It quickly turned its attention elsewhere. Unexpectedly, it saw Gao Lily. Maybe it was because of the previous situation that Gao Lily had given up on Bailey Qing. The system heard Gao Lily muttering that its great host had a boyfriend with an immature personality. She even seemed to look down on him. It silently snorted. What did this girl know? Just as he was about to divert his attention, he saw a handsome young man dressed in extraordinary clothes walking in front of Gao Lily and chatting with her. This man was very humorous, especially his equipment, which really made people's eyes light up. Gao Lily's family should be considered middle class. Everything they saw was luxurious on the surface, but they didn't know that many people with real status like some niche, luxurious and low-key brands. They wouldn't be like the nouveau riche who wore and bought the most high-profile things. After a while, the young man asked Gao Lily to go to the bar to play. Gao Lily often went to such places, and she thought that she had attracted a good man, so she naturally wouldn't miss it. Seeing the two of them enter the bar, the system stopped paying attention to them. What kind of man did Gao Lily hook up with have nothing to do with it. Anyway, no matter what kind of man it was, he was not as good as the host's cutie. Finally, it was the afternoon of the day to do Leng Ruofei's nails. Tang Guo pulled her toolbox and walked towards the dormitory. Before she left, she sent a message to Leng Ruofei. Leng Ruofei was waiting anxiously in the dormitory. She had just washed her hands properly. She would be able to have beautiful fingernails soon. When Tang Guo opened the door of the dormitory, Leng Ruofei didn't guess her identity even though she was pulling a toolbox. Chapter 1693. However, Leng Ruofei knew that Tang Guo didn't have class this afternoon, so she asked, "Did you come back to get something? I remember that you don't have class this afternoon." The system smiled but didn't say anything. It was time for it to expose itself. Tang Guo walked to Leng Ruofei with a toolbox and said with a smile, "Miss Leng, I'm here to do your nails." Leng Ruofei. Tang Guo took out her phone and sent a message to Leng Ruofei. Leng Ruofei quickly looked at the message on her phone. It was from the mysterious and expensive manicurist, "I'm here." She looked at Tang Guo with uncertainty. Her cold face tightened, and she even did a very silly thing, pinching her thigh. She felt the stinging pain and realized that it wasn't a dream. "I sent that message just now." Leng Ruofei still couldn't believe it and called Tang Guo. That number was a new card that Tang Guo had bought. Not only did the people in the dormitory not know, but even in the class, only Han Yunya knew. This number was the contact information that she had published on her social media account. Hearing Tang Guo's phone ring, Leng Ruofei quickly looked at her phone screen and found that it was indeed her number. Finally, she silently hung up the phone. After a moment of silence, she said, "You hit it so well." This Tang Guo, how many people had she fooled? This was the real boss hiding behind the scenes. In fact, she could also understand why Han Yunya was the model of this social media account. It wasn't strange that the two of them had such a good relationship. "So shall we start now?" Leng Ruofei stiffly took out her hand. "Let's start." Thinking of her beautiful nails, she was a little happy, but she still said with a straight face, "Tang Guo, we are roommates." No matter what, her character couldn't be ruined. "Okay. Do it well. If it doesn't look good, I'll expose you." Leng Ruofei threatened indifferently. After saying that, she was a little annoyed. Wasn't it just an acquaintance? Why was she still at a loss? She looked at Tang Guo, who had no reaction at all. She was very curious. How did Tang Guo do it? She calmly took her order and chatted with her to confirm the time without exposing herself at all. This woman really knew how to hide. He didn't expect that there would be a day when she would miss out. "Don't worry, the things I make are definitely worth the price." Tang Guo had already started to do her nails. Leng Ruofei also slowly calmed down. "Your order is very difficult to get. In order to get this order, I've been waiting early every time. I only managed to get it at the last time. Tang Guo, you only release 20 orders a month. Doesn't your conscience hurt? Think about how much money you'll lose. After all, I'm still a student. I can't do so much. No matter how much money I have, I still need time to earn it. I can't possibly give up on my studies." Leng Ruofei naturally didn't mean that. She said awkwardly, "We're roommates." System, ha, the rich young miss wants to ask Tang Guo for an order. Is it so difficult to ask? Tang Guo didn't expose her and watched Leng Ruofei anxiously. System, the host is too evil. The female lead is so cute, but you still bully her. We're roommates and we're all familiar with each other. Tanggua, about the order, can we discuss it? At this time, Tanggua had already finished painting 2 nails for Lang Ruofei. Looking at the 2 beautiful nails, she was even more tempted. They were really beautiful. As the saying goes, the pavilion closest to the water enjoys the moonlight first. No matter what, she had to plan for some benefits for herself today. Otherwise, she would be letting them down as roommates. Chapter 1694. 2 hours later, Lang Ruofei was very satisfied. Firstly, she was satisfied with the manicure that Tanggua had done for her. Secondly, she was satisfied that she had finally become one of Tanggua's special clients. She would leave an order for her every month. She did not have to compete with those crazy people on the internet anymore. She paid the balance without hesitation and watched as Tanggua left with the toolbox. Thinking about everything that had happened today, she could not help but smile. For the entire afternoon, she fiddled with the beautiful nails on her hands. Seeing that Tanggua had left an order for her, she decided to keep it a secret and not expose her identity. Unexpectedly, Tanggua was the one who had hidden it the most. Some people really could not be judged by their appearance. Not long after, Tanggua heard that Gao Lily had a new boyfriend. He was not a student of the school and seemed to be a man with a good family background. Occasionally, in the evening, she would go shopping hand in hand with Bailey Ching. She would even see Gao Lily holding the man's hand and going shopping with him. Gao Lily seemed to have regained her confidence. In front of Tanggua and Bailey Ching, she could not help but hold her head high and puff her chest out. Hu Xiaolan was secretly furious that Gao Lily had dated such a handsome man with a good family background. That man wasn't from the school, so she couldn't slander Gao Lily in front of him. She could only watch helplessly as Gao Lily dressed up beautifully and went out on dates every day. Especially when Gao Lily still did not bring her keys. It really drove her crazy. Compared to the competition between Gao Lily and Hu Xiaolan, Tanggua was getting better and better. Although she still only released 20 orders every month, it was not deliberate hunger marketing, but it was still popular among the rich ladies. They had all learned to be smart. They would get together and place an order. Wouldn't this solve everyone's needs? Therefore, Tanggua had to limit the number of orders. Otherwise, they would not be able to finish the order in one day. During the holidays, Tanggua found an excuse not to go home. Her younger brother, Tang Xiaoquan, did not need her to go back because of the summer camp organized by the school. Her parents, Tang Qinghai and Li Meishue, let her be. It was also because her excuse was particularly good. She was working to earn her university tuition fees and living expenses. Tang Qinghai and Li Shuimei had been planning how to cultivate Tang Xiaoquan into a talent. That would definitely cost a lot of money. As for Tanggua, she would spend as little as possible. She was a daughter after all. Once she got married, she would be like spilled water. Since she could work to earn her tuition fees and living expenses, they would save the money. Tanggua was not interested in going back to cook for them. These 2 people were only training her as a tool. When it matured, he could sell it for a good price. It didn't matter. When she graduated from university, she would slowly play with them and give them a big gift. If it wasn't for them, the original owner wouldn't have ended up in such a miserable state. During the entire summer vacation, Tanggua increased the number of orders she placed. This made the group of rich ladies who were eagerly eyeing her on the internet ecstatic. Bailey Ching was still the same as before. Every time, he personally sent Tanggua to the customer's home. Now, anyone who heard of her would know that she was driven by a luxury car to do the customer's nails. Therefore, those rich ladies felt that it was worth it to spend the money. School was about to start and naturally, the number of orders would decrease. Chapter 1695. Tangua did not change her mind no matter how much the netizens wailed. In her university, every semester, there would be a physical examination. This time, a shocking thing happened during the physical examination. Gao Lily was found to be infected with HIV. Not only this virus, but there were also other gynecological diseases. Naturally, she could not continue with her studies and had to go to the hospital for another checkup. Gao Lily could not believe it herself when the results came out. Although she liked to look pretty and was not particular about hygiene, she was never promiscuous. She had only had 2 boyfriends since she started university. It was also her second boyfriend after her first boyfriend broke up with her. Even though they had sex on the day they met. Thinking of this, she could not help but suspect that it was because of that man. When Gao Lily was found to be infected with HIV, her ex-boyfriend was so frightened that he hurriedly went to the hospital for another checkup. In the end, he was not infected and heaved a sigh of relief. When Hu Xiaolan found out about this, although she sympathized with Gao Lily on the surface, she was secretly gloating. Before Gao Lily could look for that man, she received a gift from him. She opened the box and realized that there was a memorial tablet inside. She was so frightened that her face turned pale. There were a few words written on it, Tomb of Gao Lily. At the same time, there was a letter inside. She opened the letter with trembling hands. It was handwritten by that man. The first sentence was, Lily, welcome to AI's family. Gao Lily angrily smashed everything and called the police at the same time. That man was caught not long after and the police soon found out the reason for his actions. That man was indeed from a well-to-do family. He was also a capable person and had several companies under his name. As a person, his only hobby was lust. When he was free, his favorite thing to do was to go on dates with beautiful women online. In a year, he would go on dates with hundreds of women. He felt that marriage was a constraint in a man's life, especially a man as rich as him. He felt that he should hang around with flowers and not have a single leaf on him. Wasn't it the nature of a man to love beauty? However, he did not expect that one day, he would go on dates with a woman who was infected with HIV. The woman was also unintentionally infected. Out of revenge, she wanted to take revenge on these playboys. After 72 hours, she finally told this man that she was infected. After 72 hours, there was almost no way to stop it. Naturally, he was infected. The more he thought about it, the more upset he felt, and the desire for revenge rose in his heart. He believed that a good girl would not go out on a date, much less have sex with someone on their first meeting. Since that was the case, why not have some fun and teach those women a lesson? He didn't feel guilty about doing such a thing. Naturally, Gao Lily became the first target of their revenge. Gao Lily was mesmerized by the man's charm. She didn't want to miss out on such an excellent man, so she chose to be with him on the same day. The man wasn't sure if Gao Lily was infected, so he waited for the results before sending Gao Lily the memorial tablet as a gift. Currently, he had been detained and Gao Lily had been taken away by her family for treatment. It was unlikely for her to return to class. The rest of his university life was very peaceful. Tangua's fake identity did not disappear even after graduation. With the excuse of working to earn money for her school fees and living expenses, she did not return home during every holiday. Even if it was the new year, her parents didn't care. After Tangua graduated, she received a call from her parents asking her to go back and arrange a blind date for her. Yes, her parents were that realistic. Now that she was fat and could finally be sold for a good price, how could they let her fly outside? Tang Guo still said symbolically, "Mom, I want to stay here. There are more opportunities here." Before Tang Guo could finish, Li Meishue said, "It's too far away. We're worried. You're a girl. What opportunities do you want? Come back quickly while you're still young. It's easy to find a partner now. If you miss this age, you won't be able to find a good one. But I really want to stay here." Tang Guo's lips curled into a smile, but her voice was anxious and expectant. "Come back first. They've already agreed. You should at least meet them first." Tang Guo finally said, "Okay, I'll be back in a few days." Her tone sounded disappointed. Li Meishue didn't notice. She didn't care about these things. She only knew that Tang Xiaoquan was about to enter university. If he got into the provincial capital, they would have to spend a lot of money to buy a house for Tang Xiaoquan in the provincial capital. Now that she had to go back to settle things, Tang Guo had already put up a notice to stop accepting orders for a month. Chapter 1696. Brother Xing, I have something to discuss with you. It was the first time Bailey Qing saw Tang Guo sitting down to discuss something with him so seriously. Thinking that she had graduated, he couldn't help but say, "Is it about our marriage? If it's about this, you should let me prepare. I've been thinking about how to propose to you." The girl that he had been waiting for 3 or 4 years had finally graduated. This made him overjoyed. The girl had graduated and reached the age. Did that mean she could get married? System pft. Tang Guo paused for a moment and hugged Bailey Chang's arm. "It's not about that. It's about something else. If we don't solve this, we'll be in a lot of trouble when we get married." Bailey Qing instantly thought of a possibility. In the past few years that they had been together, Tang Guo had basically never been home. After that, Tang Guo's tuition fees and living expenses were all self-funded. It seemed that her family rarely called her. Even during the new year, she was the one who called back. So, her relationship with her family was not good. Or was there another reason? Then what is it? Do you need me to do anything? Tang Guo looked at Bailey Qing and said seriously, "If you want to meet my family in the future, you should go shopping and buy a few sets of cheap clothes. It's okay to wear something nice inside, but it can't be branded. Wear something that looks popular and cheap on the outside. Anyway, you have to make people think that you're a very ordinary office worker. My family situation is like this for now." Tang Guo slowly told him what Tang Qinghai and Li Meishue did. Their salary was not low. It was about 30,000 yuan in total. But no matter what they did, they still had to live frugally. Since Tang Xiaoquan was born, all the expenses were used on him. They were both their children. The difference was so big. If that was the case, the original owner would at most have less contact with them when she grew up. She would have just given them some red packets every year. After all, they gave all their energy and money to Tang Xiaoquan. Naturally, Tang Xiaoquan had to take care of their retirement. Unfortunately, they were not satisfied. Every investment that they made to the original owner was like an investment. He could only hope that he could fatten up the pig and sell it for a good price to subsidize Tang Xiaoquan. Even though she was married, she was still oppressed by filial piety. She had no choice but to embezzle her own money to subsidize Tang Xiaoquan. Growing up in a family with such an atmosphere, it could be said that she had not formed a sound and independent thinking personality. She could no longer distinguish between right and wrong. A person was brainwashed from a young age to think about their parents and younger brother in everything they did. Very few people could walk out of this environment and live their own lives. What Tang Guo wanted to do now was to break the couple's naive thoughts. Since they didn't deserve to be parents, she also wanted to let them know what it meant to raise a barbecued pork. Of course, this barbecued pork was not her, but Tang Xiaokuan. When Bailey Ching heard Tang Guo talk about her childhood, he was very angry. He thought that she was so outstanding because she grew up in a good family environment. Even if she wasn't rich, her family should be happy and harmonious. He was very glad that even in such a family, she was not led astray. So they arranged a blind date for you. Now you want to go back and meet your blind date. Bailey Ching showed a disapproving expression. Xiaoguo, you have a boyfriend now. Chapter 1697. When he thought about how his wife was going to meet a strange man, his heart was filled with jealousy. Let's go and meet them. Otherwise, they won't give up. Brother Xing, don't worry. I have my own plans. I won't lose out. If we don't solve this problem, it will be troublesome if those two fight. In fact, there were countless ways to avoid it. Once a person made up his mind to leave an environment, how could they stop him from doing so? However, that was not her goal. Those two people had yet to receive their punishment and pay the price for their actions. How could she leave? Even if the original owner did not have any opinion, she had a lot of opinions. If she did not teach them a lesson, she would be unhappy for the rest of her life. What if you lose out? Bailey Ching was still worried. He held Tanggua's small hand and thought about the days they spent together. He knew that once she made up her mind, she would not change her mind unless it was a matter of principle. In the end, he thought of a compromise. How about I go back with you? You can deal with the blind date, and I'll hide and watch at the place. If there is a problem, I can help you immediately. What do you think? His wife was so beautiful. If he did not keep an eye on her all the time, he would not be at ease. Okay. This request was not excessive at all. Tang Guo agreed. This was also good. She was happy to see him squatting in the corner of the house and being jealous. System, have you seen a strong husband before? After talking to Bailey Ching, Tang Guo was ready to go back to her hometown. She first changed out of the fashionable clothes she was wearing and changed into a well-behaved and plain-looking outfit. Even the dress she brought home was well-behaved. It had a high neckline and some sleeves. The hemline was also above her knees. Anyway, she was not afraid of being exposed. Her curly hair was also washed straight. She used a hair tie to tie it into a ponytail that was neither too high nor too low. Bailey Ching watched helplessly as the fashionable girl turned into an honest and obedient girl in an instant. He held Tanggua's ponytail. Long curly hair looks better. Brother Xing, do you mean that it doesn't look good? No, it's not. It's another kind of beauty. No matter what Xiaoguo looks like, it's the best. System, survival instinct. On the third day, Tang Guo returned to the county. The first time she took a bus to the bus station, her parents and brother Tang Xiaokuan came to pick her up. When Li Xuemei saw Tang Guo, she seemed very satisfied. She smiled and asked Tang Qinghai to take her luggage home. She then dragged Tang Guo to the mall, saying that she wanted to buy her some pretty clothes and dress her up. After all, they were going to meet their blind date in 2 days. They couldn't let others look down on their daughter and say that they had mistreated her. If she didn't dress up nicely, would he be interested in her? But the moment she saw Tang Guo, Li Meishue felt confident. She was sure that no man who had seen her daughter would be able to escape. Therefore, when she bought Tang Guo clothes and jewelry, she was willing to spend money. Since Li Xuemei was so generous, Tang Guo didn't stand on ceremony. She just tried on the good clothes. Whatever she chose, it would definitely look good on her. Although Li Xuemei was reluctant to buy it, she still bought it. She thought that when her daughter got married, she would receive hundreds of thousands of yuan as a betrothal gift. She would definitely make a profit. Chapter 1698. If she marries into a good family, they can subsidize her family from time to time. Whether this man treats you well depends on how he treats your family. If he doesn't treat your family well, you can't accept this man. Xiaogua, when you get married in the future, don't forget about your family. Your maiden family will always be your backing. Your in-laws will always be someone else's family. No matter what you do, you have to think about your family first. And Xiao Kun, he's your biological brother. If anything happens to you in the future and we're gone, Xiao Kun will still have to support you. Xiao Kun is a smart child and will definitely have a bright future. He's your brother, so you have to take good care of him. When he's successful in the future, he definitely won't forget you. No matter who you're closer to, you'll never be closer to your family. Don't you think so? Mom, you're right. I'll remember. Tang Guo replied with a smile. Seeing that Tang Guo was still so obedient, Li Meishua's heart relaxed a little. What she said next was even more explicit. In any case, she was trying to persuade her to take care of her family. Her family was the closest to her. She also reminded her to find out more about her blind date's family when she met them. Even if there were matchmakers to introduce them, she was afraid that there would be false information and she would be at a disadvantage. Tang Guo was more direct. She said, Mom, how much should we ask for as a betrothal gift? The blind dates I asked people to introduce you to are all sons of bosses. They have good status and have companies in the provincial capital. Xiaogua is so beautiful, so the betrothal gift must be at least 400,000 to 500,000 yuan. Yes, you're right. Mom, you've raised me for so long. If I don't ask for 400,000 to 500,000 yuan, it'll be too insincere. Tang Guo said. Li Xuemei was full of smiles. That's right. Xiaogua is so beautiful, so we have to ask for more. Those sons of bosses don't lack money. If they can't afford it, they must want to marry you for free. How can there be such a cheap thing? Mom, if we ask for betrothal gifts, we have to ask for a house, right? How can we ask for that? System, host, is it really okay to do this? I definitely need a house, at least in the city center of the provincial capital. I need a house with at least 3 bedrooms before I can marry you. Also, we must have a car for transportation. The price of the car should be at least 300,000 to 400,000. It was not because Li Xuemei was so confident, but because she had seen the beautiful Tang Guo. Then, he ruthlessly deleted those blind dates and selected some of them. She even felt that those men were not worthy of her daughter. He was even thinking of getting the matchmaker to find someone with better conditions. Whatever Li Xuemei said, Tang Guo listened to her. Li Xuemei was so happy that she didn't feel distressed at all when she went shopping. Li Xuemei didn't know that there was an ordinary-looking man wearing sunglasses who had been silently circling around their position in the mall. After buying a lot of things, the mother and daughter went home. This time, in order to sell her at a good price, Li Xuemei didn't even ask her to do the housework. Instead, she asked her to take good care of herself. She even reminded her not to go out in the sun. Of course, Tang Guo was happy to do so. Since she was young, the original Tang Guo had never enjoyed such love from her parents. They basically treated her like a pig to be raised. Compared to a pig, they had to go through a process of brainwashing her from time to time. Chapter 1699. When she stepped into the illusion mirror city, Fairy Piaomiao appeared in the sect she was in. She saw her junior sisters being bullied by other sects because of her master's ascension and her unexpected disappearance. At that time, Her eyes were red, especially when a junior sister came in front of her with serious injuries. After saying those words, she fell to the ground and no longer breathed. At that time, she pulled out her long sword and planned to rush out and kill all the people from that sect. At that moment, a thought flashed through her mind. How did she come out? How did she return to the sect? Why did she lose this memory? Right, she should be in the Rubik's Cube world. She should be heading to the Illusion Mirror City. Right, she also told Misty Fairy that when she was impulsive, she must think about how they came out of the Rubik's Cube world. If she couldn't remember, then they were in the illusion mirror. She mustn't be impulsive and cause her mental state to shatter and fall into danger. Slowly, Mist Fairy sheathed her sword and the redness in her eyes gradually faded away. She lowered her head and looked at the ice silk feather clothes she was wearing. She couldn't help but laugh. In order to save up the Rubik's Cube coins to draw the key, I scrimped and scrimped. I haven't bought a dress for a long time. How can I wear such a flashy ice silk feather clothes? After a fight, it would break into pieces. Wouldn't that be a waste? It's so fake. Wanderer Silver Ring was like Misty Fairy. Once he entered the illusion mirror, he returned to his previous place. The place he returned to was even easier to hallucinate. Because the place he went to was holding a Tao companion ceremony with his junior sister. He and his junior sister were both wearing red wedding clothes and standing on a high platform. They were planning to swear an oath and become Tao companions. Senior brother. Seeing his junior sister's affectionate look, Wanderer Silver Ring was startled. Junior sister. Senior brother, today, we are going to become Tao companions. Are you willing to be good to me forever and never betray me? Of course. Wanderer Silver Ring didn't even want to think about it. He liked his junior sister to begin with. In the Rubik's Cube world, he wanted to go back and see her every day. He worked so hard every day without caring about his life and crazily saved up Rubik's Cube coins. He just wanted to go back and take a look, regardless of whether she was waiting for him or not. If she was still waiting for him, then it meant that their fate was not over yet. He should give his junior sister an explanation and become her Tao companion. He should treat her well for the rest of his life, never betray her, never hurt her. If she couldn't wait any longer, he wouldn't blame her, because he really had been here for a long time. His junior sister probably thought he was dead a long time ago. If his junior sister had found someone better and was happy, he would no longer appear to disturb her, so as to avoid adding to her troubles. Perhaps without any worries, he might want to come to the Magic Cube world or even ascend to the Immortal world. Wait a minute, how did he come back? Senior brother, you made me wait for so long. I'm so sad. I don't believe you anymore. At this moment, junior sister's voice reached Wanderer Silver Ring's ears. He raised his head, and his eyes became much clearer. He asked, then what does junior sister want? Senior brother, to prove that you really care about me, use this dagger to stab your heart. Then, I'll believe you. She was clearly such a beautiful junior sister, and her voice was gentle. However, the words she said were incomparably ruthless. Wanderer Silver Ring suddenly smiled. Even if junior sister blames me and resents me, you wouldn't use such a method to make me prove anything. It's a pity that this is only an illusion. You aren't my junior sister. Chapter 1700. After Tanguy said those words, the first man also gave up on the idea of continuing to be with her. She was beautiful, but he really couldn't afford to have her as a sister-supporting demon. He had seen it for himself. This sister-supporting demon was simply crazy. She seemed like a good person, but he didn't expect her to be crazy. Naturally, the first blind date fell through. When Li Meishua asked what was going on, Tang Guo said, "We were having a good chat. I don't know why the other party didn't agree." Li Xuemei asked the matchmaker again, but the matchmaker only said that the other party felt that the two of them weren't suitable. Actually, the other party said that he definitely wouldn't tell the truth about the conversation with Tang Guo. After that, Tang Guo met a few more blind dates. Anyway, when they first met, they had a very good impression of her. When she made various requests, all of them were defeated. Those who had some money these days were not fools. Who would want to get into trouble with this sister-supporting demon? They were marrying a wife, not looking for an ancestor. This kind of family that only cared about their son and sold their daughter, forget about it. Moreover, ever since they removed Tang Guo, they thought that this girl was seriously brainwashed. It was better to forget about it. It was useless even if she was beautiful. Every time Li Xuemei asked Tang Guo why the other party had rejected her, she would ask her what was wrong. Tang Guo would say, "We were having a good chat and didn't find anything wrong. The other party was also quite nice. How would I know that he didn't agree? It's really strange. From their eyes, I can see that they are quite satisfied with me." Li Xuemei didn't think that Tang Guo would lie to her. The blind dates continued, and each time, they ended in failure. Without Li Xuemei knowing, there was a rumor in the circle that her family favored boys over girls and brainwashed their daughter. On the surface, Tang Guo's words to her blind dates were quite outrageous. But if one connected the dots, wouldn't one be able to guess what kind of family she was living in? As time went on, Tang Guo exposed more and more problems in her family. Anyway, she didn't know anything. These were all told to her by Li Xuemei. Since she was a top-quality product, she didn't need to be afraid of being exposed. Wasn't it just a matter of face? She didn't care about that. She didn't lack fame, but Li Xuemei, her husband, and Tang Xiaoquan were different. System, that's right. After all, the host is thick-skinned and shameless. Bailey Cheng, who had been eavesdropping on the conversation between Tang Guo and her blind date, was also amazed. He did not expect his wife to be so good at lying through her teeth. Ruining his reputation was as if it didn't cost anything. Because Tang Guo wanted to ruin her reputation, the matchmaker had no choice but to introduce her to someone who was worse than her. Li Xuemei had no choice but to blame it on the fact that young people nowadays were too stingy. Weren't they just asking for a betrothal gift and a house? Could it be that he married a wife for nothing? The matchmaker even tactfully reminded her that the betrothal gifts were too high and all the requests were a little too much. Normally, it would be fine. But now, Li Xuemei was even more persistent. No matter what, she had to find a rich man for Tang Guo. He even suggested that regardless of age, it would be fine as long as one had money. After hearing this, the matchmaker no longer introduced a young man to Tang Guo, but a middle-aged man. This time, Tang Guo met a bald man in his 50s. He was greasier than the men she had met before. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.